reformative, especially in the lines, "Your silence will not protect you," and in the line, "Remember, we were not meant to survive." And as a white woman, I found these very useful. She's not taught so much in English departments that I know today, because postmodern speech and ways of thinking have made her seem too simple. And I think that's a very great shame. And I am remembering once when somebody was condescending to an earlier author as being too simple. And T.S. Eliot came to the defense of that author, saying something I respect. He said, "We know so much more than he did, and he is what we know." I feel she's not too simple, but she may have been so profound that we don't realize to what extent we've benefited from her.
Well, I really liked how the film used a lot of video material of Miss Lorde, and kind of, and I just thought it was beautiful how you weaved in like her reading certain poetry with kind of describing more of her theoretical ideas and personal accounts of how she inspired specific people and how she inspired movement broadly. I think it was done in a very beautiful way, but it was also very impactful, so that you can understand how important she was to this German movement and to these German women. And I mean, it was very artistically done as well, so which I think speaks very highly to Miss Lorde and the important art and poetry to her as well. It's my second time seeing it, actually.
How come you looked at it 2 times?
Well, I saw it over the summer, and I think it was a part of the Boston LGBTQ Film Festival. And then I saw, when I realized that you were going to be here as the director and I could also ask you questions about the movie, I decided to come back. But it was actually very helpful watching it a second time after doing research for my thesis in the Netherlands, because there's certain things that really popped out to me watching it a second time that I didn't catch the first time I saw it.
And the research is on the Netherlands?
Yeah, it's on the impact of black feminism and individual black feminists on the organizing of black women in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
So Audre Lorde obviously is a very, very important part of that, and her influence on the Netherlands is also tremendous, looking at certain specific groups that were organizing in the Netherlands, like Sister Outsider and Zami.
Well, her poetry and her writings transcends just feminism. She was very intuitive. Yes, her gift, and she was very empowering. Her poetry is difficult. You have to read it intuitively. I loved how she said, for example, that she memorized it all, that it was always like an inner voice, because that too is my own experience. I adore Audre as a humanist. You're transcending race and color and affirming what we all share, this deep capacity of empathy with each other, beyond words, particularly as a nomad, homeless in a way, encountering strangers. I mean, she has a story of in Tashkent, it's meeting Russians, but they are Eskimos, and so no common language, and using the gaze, the sense of confidence and trust we can have in encountering total strangers
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
feeling this bond of loving
Yeah.
kindness.
Yeah.
I like too that she doesn't define herself as a cancer survivor, and that courage in encountering death is very beautiful. It's a message, I think, that's very important for this age, where we demonize cancer as though we have to fight it or struggle with it, rather than embrace it as a teaching.
Well, I can't just sit here staring death in her face, blinking and asking for a new name with which to greet her. I am not afraid to say, unembellished, I am dying. But I do not want to do it while looking the other way.
I hadn't known this about Audre, but your film does give this to me, where the point is to keep on living
Yeah.
till the very end, yes, working. You're not an invalid. As long as you're alive, celebrate that.
Yeah. Yeah, she was very much like that. She always said,
Lovely.
when we went off to work or what she said, no, whatever you do, do it with joy.
Yes, yes, I love, rather than with love,
Yeah.
I embrace
Yeah.
the notion of
Joy.
joyfulness.
Yeah.
I really thank you for your work. It's enriched me a lot.
Thank you.
Share it
And
with others.